Are the Niners, after this win in Seattle, are they back? Was that Seattle just a bad, tired, beat up football team? And should the Niners be favored here? The last 4 times the Niners have played the Chiefs, the Niners have lost Jimmy Garoppolo to an ACL tear, lost Super Bowl 54, lost Super Bowl 58, got their doors blown off at home, and yet the Chiefs are a 1.5-point dog in this thing. For those who keep track of these things, Kansas City is 13-3-1 against the spread as an underdog since Mahomes took over as the starter in 2018. That includes 6 straight outright wins as an underdog. So the odds makers say the Niners are the favorite. Are the Niners back, or is Seattle just bad?
I mean, I don't see how beating the Seahawks proves that the Niners are back, because the Giants beat the Seahawks and the Giants aren't back and they're not going anywhere. So if the Niners are back, they'll prove it this week. If they beat the Chiefs, that would be the marker. And I don't see why anyone would expect the Niners to beat the Chiefs when they couldn't even beat the Cardinals, who aren't good. And the Chiefs aren't as good as they were last year, but their defense is still great, and they're still a lot better than the Cardinals. So maybe the Niners win this game, but I wouldn't expect them to.
Why are the Chiefs dogs?
I don't understand. Can you tell me?
No, I mean, I didn't understand why the Chiefs were dogs in the Super Bowl. And then after beating the Niners again, I don't understand why they're dogs in this game. I mean, I know they're looking for, bets on both sides of the thing. I know it may be influenced by the fact that the Niners are closer to Nevada than Kansas City is. Maybe it always favors the Niners a little bit, but I mean, they're just begging you. They're just screaming out to you, bet the Chiefs. Bet the Chiefs. They're just begging you to bet the Chiefs, I think.
Maybe it's just because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of Niner fans and a lot of people betting the Niners. That's all I can. And they want people to bet the Chiefs because so many people. I don't know. I can't really explain it, but we just saw this play out in the Super Bowl. I'd love to know someone who would put money down on the Niners to win this particular game right now. It just seems like there'd be so many other bets that'd be better this weekend than that one.
I feel like the Niners are, I like Kansas City in any way this shakes out. I like Kansas City if Kansas City got a lead. I like Kansas City if the Niners got a lead. I like Kansas City if they, get ahead and cruise. I like Kansas City if the Niners get ahead and Kansas City's got, something to shoot for. And I just like Mahomes and Reed and their ability to score on the 49er defense. I'll take Mahomes and Reed against Sorensen and Staley all day and every day. And then I would probably take Spags against Shanahan, though it's a little bit more of an even fight. Spags has had the upper hand against Shanahan. So I definitely would take Dave Taub over Brian Schneider. No offense to Brian Schneider, but the Niners are 31st in special teams DVOA. So they're really bad on special teams. So I definitely would take the Chiefs special teams and their offense against the Niner D. I might lean with Shanahan and the Niner O against the Chiefs D. But the Chiefs have a top 10 D, so, that's that. And even though the Niners are 2 on rushing and 3 on passing or something like that. But I think the Chiefs have an advantage coaching staff wise.
You asked me at the beginning of the segment, are the Niners back? Here's why I don't feel they've proven that yet. So they played the Seahawks, who aren't good, and they go up 23-3. Then the Seahawks return the kickoff for a touchdown. It's 23-10. Kenneth Walker scores. The Niners punt. The Seahawks score in their next drive. It's 23-17. The Niners punt, and then the Seahawks have the ball again. And that play where Renardo Green intercepts the pass, that to me is such an interesting play because it was just a miscommunication between Geno and DK. If Geno had seen it DK's way and thrown deep, it would have been a touchdown. Or if DK had just stuck to the route and run the dig route, it would have been a big play. But one guy goes deep, one guy throws over the middle. It's an interception, game essentially over. Kind of an interesting way for it to go out. I wouldn't expect anything less from Geno Smith and DK Metcalf, but the Niners aren't facing that group anymore. Like, now you're facing competent teams that know what they're doing, and they've let those teams beat them this year.
Yeah, it's funny. DK, it's so fitting that DK would get beat like that because he's so damn big, so damn strong. There's so many advantages that he has on everybody that he goes against. He's bigger than the big guys. He's faster than the fast guys. He's a mismatch in a lot of ways. But what he isn't good at is he's not a good receiver.
Doing his job.
He doesn't have good ball skills. He doesn't understand how to work back to the ball. He's not a quarterback's best friend. You know what I mean? It's like
he freelances.
There was a couple other plays there in the game where if he had been more aggressive, he could have made the catch, but instead he was very passive and allowed the Niner DB to get in for the PBU. He's just not a very good receiver in the purest sense of the word. And you're right. He could have been taking a more aggressive approach on that ball, totally maneuvered Renardo out of there and easily made the catch. Instead, he kind of passively allowed the ball to come to him, allowed Renardo to cut the route short. And just, Renardo really played it better. He was smarter on the ball. But yeah, there's no question that could.
It's kind of like what Brandon Ayuk did a couple of weeks ago against, who was it? The Rams, where he runs the post and Purdy sees it and doesn't throw it because it wasn't the route he was supposed to run. Like, I don't know. It's a miscommunication. DK is allowed to change his route. And if Geno had seen it the same way, it would have been a touchdown. But that's something they have to work out. And the reason that they haven't worked it out is because they're a terrible team. But again, you could say that the Chiefs don't have the talent anymore on offense, but I don't think they're going to have. Maybe they will. Mahomes just thrown a bunch of picks this year. Maybe their offense is a miscommunicated mess because they've lost so many people. But I just don't see Patrick Mahomes making those mistakes down the stretch when the 49ers have let every team back into the game this season. Every single team. If you do that with Patrick Mahomes, you're going to lose.
Yeah. No, the Niners can't finish, and here's the ultimate finisher on the other end. So you can't feel good going into this game if you're a 49er fan. All right, we know in Kansas City that they're going to give the bulk of the carries to Kareem Hunt. Yeah, despite the fact, they've got other guys, but they're going to go to Kareem Hunt. They utilize Kareem Hunt. Who should get the bulk of the carries for the 49ers this week coming out of that game? Mason has got he's got a shoulder injury, AC joint sprain. I don't know if he'll be able to go on Sunday or not. But you also have Garendo, you have Patrick Taylor, you have Keyshawn Vaughn on the practice squad. You could run Debo. You could pick somebody off the street. Who do you want to see get the bulk of the carries in this game?
Well, I think the Niners want Jordan Mason to get the bulk of the carries because he was out there practicing today with the blue non-contact jersey, which to me indicates the Niners are hoping and praying and maybe pushing him to play. So I couldn't imagine that he could take 20 carries coming off this injury so quickly. So if he could do 15, 10, that'd be great. And I think with Garendo at this point, it's gotten to the point where you'd like to see him have 10 carries as well, 10 touches. Because if he's that kind of a home run hitter, he just needs opportunities. And if you give him 10, one of them might be a touchdown. So I'd like to see those two split carries if Jordan Mason isn't 100% healthy. I don't think we need to see any Patrick Taylor Jr. I'm sorry. Patrick.
He showed reliability in that he caught it all right. He looks like he's got pretty reliable hands, but you've got a much faster guy in Garendo, and it's like if you can just get Garendo a few carries, he's kind of shown he's going to run up the back of his offensive lineman. He doesn't have good feel for the position, but it doesn't really matter. He's got 4.33 speed and he's 230 pounds. And if you can get him on a trap and punch him through like Pooney did on the 76-yard run, or if you can get him in space, he's the guy that has just such size, such speed that you got to get him the ball. He would be the guy that I'd like to see get carries if possible.
The Niners haven't used a tandem since 2019 when they had Tevin Coleman and Raheem Mostert. It'd be nice to see them get back to that. And I feel like Mason and Garendo complement each other really well. Mason has that feel between the tackles. He's got surprising burst to the edge, but it'd be nice to pair him with someone who runs a 4.33 and is that kind of a home run hitter.
No question. And Garendo, Garendo's going to have some negative yardage runs, and both these guys are going to get their TFLs, right? They're going to get tackled for a loss, but Mason can bust one, and Garendo clearly has the ability to bust one. If he gets an opportunity, he can bust it. All right, issues wise, let's go through
one thing real quick. I think if I'm not wrong, I think in both Super Bowls the Niners got out rushed by the Chiefs. So if the Niners are ever going to beat the Chiefs, maybe they have to actually commit to running the ball and do it better than the Chiefs. And they could theoretically do it this week if the Chiefs just have Kareem Hunt and who?
Who else do they have in the backfield?
Yeah.
Who else do the Chiefs have in the backfield? Well, they had McKinnon, but they cut him. Let me see who the Chiefs have. Who else the Chiefs have? That's the thing. I mean, they were so
Samaje Perine and Carson Steele.
Carson Steele.
I mean, the Niners should be able to outrush them.
Yeah, I mean, Carson Steele's not bad. He runs upright. He's got decent speed, but it's a lot of Kareem Hunt. I mean, they're really leaning on Kareem Hunt. So, I mean, it's Kareem Hunt, I would imagine, is going to get the ball the most. It's funny with them. They're going to throw it to Juju Smith-Schuster, who's old but still effective, and they're going to hand it to Kareem Hunt, who's also old but still effective. So that's kind of their game plan. I think.
Can I just say something real quick?
Somehow,
everyone's saying that. Yeah. Well, the Niners clearly have the better weapons here, and people are saying that Brock Purdy's having a better season than Patrick Mahomes. Well, now would be a great time to prove it. This game right here.
Brock Purdy owns Seattle, but I don't. Mahomes has got 6 touchdowns, 6 picks, but Mahomes has been the guy in the moment for so long that come on, you got to give him his at this point.
He's clutch. Their offense isn't really clicking right now, but their defense is.
Right, but I still trust Mahomes with the game on the line. All right, let's go.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good, Larry.
Yeah, he's pretty decent. He's
pretty good.
Let's just say he ain't bad. He's not bad.